You're listening to Tour Tech, your 5 weekly takeaways to tourism success. This series is brought to you by the digital tourism think tank in partnership with the European project Tourbit, which is co-financed by the European Commission's COSME program for SMEs. I'm Nick Hall, founder of the digital tourism think tank, joined by our series co-host Marie Texier, looking after Tourbit for Paris & Co. And each week, we'll be bringing you insightful discussions with tourism SMEs undergoing digital transformation together with the innovative tech partners who are guiding them on that journey.
Today, we head to Slovenia, where we'll meet with Urša Fürst from Camping Menina, together with the travel tech entrepreneur Klemen Furlan, the CEO of GoGiro and HopGuides. We'll be looking at how digital product presents a unique opportunity to truly expand the experience proposition for guests thanks to connected technologies, micromobility solutions, and of course, AI.
I really enjoyed this discussion because Urša, the now leader of Camping Menina, is changing the way now the camping runs because she's adding sustainability and on top digitalization to create real experience for tourists.
Great, well, let's have a listen.
Hi, my name is Klemen and I'm a CEO of HopGuides, GoGiro. We are a company that works in AI sphere, mainly tourism part, but our main product is that we want to digitalize tour guides and offer stories, navigation, inclusion of different participants, of tourism participants into packages, all this stuff. And, it's something amazing and really looking forward to introduce my service, our service to Urša and to everybody else.
Hi, I'm Urša. I'm CEO of Camping Menina. That's a campsite in Slovenia, Upper Savinja Valley. Our main focus is family holidays in high season, and then in low season we have company team buildings, schools, different activities that we combine with the whole valley and tourism. And the goal is to present or to prepare holidays that you won't forget here with us and include local people, include the whole valley and present to you what you can do with us here. So with that aspect and with the help of digitalization in the new age, I think it's going to be even better.
And talking about digitalization, can you explain to us the digital challenges you are facing currently?
Well, one of the big challenges is cycling, biking routes. We all know biking is getting more and more popular. And here in our valley, it's quite tricky because the paths are not marked enough. And we don't actually have only separate paths for bikes. And as our main guests are Dutch people as well, they're quite used to having nice and accessible biking paths all over. So one of the big challenges for us is to send people around, and especially because they don't know the land, they don't know where to go. We try to give them the maps, and we're doing our own routes that are all side roads, so we avoid the traffic with them. So yeah, that's one of the challenges that we would like to fix or improve, so we can send people to enjoy the valley, to enjoy the nature and see the really nice views, hear the stories, know where to go if there's bad weather or something like that on the way, but still make sure that they're safe and they don't get lost or they don't go on the main roads.
And so, I think, Klemen, you have this solution for that. Can you explain us how a hub guide can answer to this challenge?
Yeah, for sure, this is a challenge that our company solves already, and it's something that we have done with 3 of the largest ski resorts this year in Slovenia. So these ski resorts are Cirkno and Mariborsko Pohorje, Krvavec. Basically, what we did with them is something that Camp Menina could use also. Basically, we, together with the ski resort, we agreed on the perfect bike trails for their target audiences, which in this case was not actually these sportsman-like downhill/trail bikers, but these were families, young couples, or young retirees that really needed safer routes, but on the other hand, not really overly populated routes with lots of vehicles. So usually what we did with the ski resorts, we identified the best possible routes that met this criteria and saved the GPX file for these ski resorts and upload them into our HopGuides app. So now all these tourists, all these visitors are now taking the safest, most picturesque, but on the other hand, also not overly populated routes. This is the difference between normal guided tours with tour guides is here that basically the guests can go by themselves. They can start at any time. They can start at evening. They can start in the morning. They can start even on non-high season dates. This is something that usually tour guides are not ready or not have the time to take care of. Also, I have to mention the way we solve the problems with basically we use the best possible phone holders, are safe for the phones to be used on the bike handles. And also they equip the tourists with the battery chargers. So every guest, once they rent the bicycle, also get the safety battery pack that enables them to actually return home safely even they are lose battery. Also, one important thing here is that there have been problems with the mobile networks, and we solved these problems by already downloading the whole tour even before the tour itself started on hotels' Wi-Fi. So it was important that even if they are in the areas with low mobile coverage, they are not getting lost. So basically with them, we took care of all the potential problems that could happen using this type of solutions.
What did you predict in case of a flat tire or something like that they can maybe contact us, or is it possible in the application to see where the nearest fixing point would be or something like that if they have problems on the way?
Yeah, so the way we solve this problem is that they always have a direct contact number with the reception, or in the case of ski resorts with the ski registry, basically the buying place of the purchase of the bike rental. Also, the only problem we have, potential problem, is that maybe when there is no mobile coverage, they maybe will not be able to call. And this is the only problem, but this is rarer than ability to have data connection. So if you have a mobile connection, you can still call the reception or the responsible person on the site of camp, in your case. So they can then identify the location and they can come and bring them back to the campsite or to the nearest bike service.
You were talking about storytelling you would like to share with your visitors. So how guide include this story in your application?
Yeah, I think, well, me personally, and I think from experience here as well, it's completely different if you go bike on a route and you don't know where you're biking, what if there's a really nice attraction, if there's some like natural beauty. It's really nice that we can include. And when you have a person, especially a local guide, he can present all of that to you. And if you go on your own, a lot of people want to do the tours and everything on their own, but still that's, in my opinion, a big part that you miss of the culture, of the nature of the whole experience. It's quite an important thing because I think the stories and the attractions make the experience. Otherwise, it's just biking or recreation. So yeah, one of the good points I think is that when you send them somewhere, maybe we can make together with the local people stops or tips where they can see something, or they have a really amazing view and they can hear a legend about that view and things that they're passing. So they're not just passing, but they're actually aware what they're passing and what's there to see.
I have another question for you, Klemen. How artificial intelligence is used in your application?
So we are using artificial intelligence in multiple use cases, but basically let me just follow up on Ursha's idea So creating a story, we all know the guidance would be using a real world, very friendly and personable tour guide. However, there are many people who are either don't want to use a tour guide, or the timing is not right, or the season is not right. So there are many cases that people maybe would like to have the tour guide, but because of the different reasons are not able to actually use them. So then we have an alternative solution to recreate these stories that are told by tour guides by digitalizing these tour guides, or even better, in case of Menina, using character that is a symbol of Camp Menina to explain these stories, these local stories, directly to their visitors and tourists. So one thing that digitalization itself and also AI is great for repetitive tasks. So meaning even the best tour guides repeat the same story or a perfect story all over the time. So this is something that digitalization can do perfectly every time, or if it's done perfect every time the same, at much lower cost. And what we have especially identified is the regions that don't have many tourism participants like tour guides working there, and they are stuck somewhere. They don't have the products available for tourists. So this solution is a shortcut to actually provide some tourism products at a relatively low price and low investment for the whole time. So the less developed the region, tourism region is, the more the benefit. So basically they can have a 24-hour product available for their guests. And big importance for every tourism provider, especially for sleepover, is how many days they are staying. It's much better to have a guest staying for 4 days instead of 2. It's easier, it's less operating work and everything. So these extra products can help. But coming back to AI and where we are using AI is basically 3 main things. We are using AI for generation of ideas, of stories for the potential clients, meaning either hotels or campsites or bread and breakfast or different tourism providers. So we basically give them the idea of what could this experience be. It's not a finalized idea, but it's a very good draft. And then at the end, we can work faster. The second one is text to voice, meaning we are able to transform these texts that are already confirmed by the tourism provider to be translated into different languages and then narrated. And this can be done very fast, in a way, in a natural voice and in a very pleasant voice, which can be seen on our YouTube channel, HopGuides YouTube channel, to see it by yourself. And the third way is when we have some characters, some proposed characters, we can recreate them together with a tourism provider to make them their own, also with their own copywriting and their ownership of the character itself. And this character can then be put to life. At the end, it can speak, it's visually appealing, and it's basically telling the amazing story that has been confirmed by the tourism provider. And this is something that they can use as a video, as an audio, as a text in all their possible channels. They can put it on a website, they can put it on QR codes, they can do whatever. We are there to help them, but at the end, it's their own decision. Of course, this is something that can be used all together in an app. So these stories can be narrated on different places around the region, the way they are being guided to. So this is then at the end the ultimate solution for that. So basically, to make this really short, this is main usage. There are a few more, but maybe some questions in the later stage. I think more or less I covered the most important ones.
Yeah, here I would maybe just add that it's a really nice solution as well, especially for the kids, because usually, even when you have a tour guide that goes with a group, it's really hard to speak so many languages for smaller children to understand. So, this is quite a really good option for them and even to entertain them, because in person, it's quite hard to take a small kid on a bike trip or on a hiking trip and convince them that it's nice to hike or bike without some added value and some interesting stories, or maybe for them to do some things like searching for things in the middle of the path, or yeah, just to add the tasks for them so they're entertained the whole time around.
Yeah, that's a really good point to gather also all the family around this activity. And I have a question concerning the format. Just for us to understand how the service looks like. Pretend I'm going to campsite Menina and I want to use HopGuide. What is the format? Should I pay something? Should I download something? How does it work in practice?
I would say in a case of a ski resort Cirkno, Krvavec, Mariborsko Pohorje, it works in a way that you can be sold to the tour in different ways. Usually it's being sold, in the case of Camp Menina, would be sold in reception, or it can be pre-booked on website. It really doesn't matter. We use three main sales channels. One would be TripAdvisor or any of the platforms that can sell the experiences. Again, this is the product of, in this case, Camp Menina. The second option is to be sold on the reception, or the third option on their own website. In the case of being sold in option number 2 and 3, meaning website or experience platform, they would get all the information on an email. So basically, they come to the bicycle rent with the QR code that will confirm their purchase with a coupon. And once they come and legitimize themselves, they get the bike and the whole equipment, and the QR code will unlock the digital tour guide, and they will just put the phone on the bike handles and go on a phone holder and go around and come back at the end. In the second option, so being sold on reception has a product that can include only a guided tour plus the bike rental, or it can even include some visit of the museum that is in the neighborhood, or some catering in the partner restaurant, or some type of meal service. And this again will be sold on the room or in the campsite. They will have their own new tourism product, and the only thing that they need to give to the guests is the bike and show them the QR code that will unlock the app. The app itself doesn't need payment. It's all done upfront, and the product itself is sold on different channels.
Do they need to register in the app, or you just download it and you have different paths in it?
No registration whatsoever. Our goal is to be as clear and as straightforward. So just download and go. Download, scan the QR code. At the worst case, it's downloads, enable the camera of the phone, and scan the QR code. This is the longest it goes. We took the most focus into not really having any steps to stop the guests. It's just execution tool to bring them around.
And from the experience, maybe how much are guests prepared to pay for that, for an online guide?
We are differentiating between two main products. One is a city product that is a walking tour, which can be from 5 to 20 euros. The second one is a bike tour. And usually, and I will say that with our use case with ski resorts, everybody is offering e-bikes, which are more expensive than normal bikes. So the prices range between 40 euros per one day for just a rental with a guided tour, up to 100 euros with the meal and some museum entrances. So there are quite a few that are including a meal at some point of the guided tour. And the more you offer, the higher the price, usually.
So mostly it's actually packages. What about if they have their own bike and everything, they just want to have the app for a tour?
This can be easily created as another product. Of course, it will be cheaper. But if they have their own vehicle, the price range without any additional package, without any addition to with the food and stuff, is between 5 to 20 euros. It really depends. This is just our use case, but it really depends on the provider.
And the payments go to you, or you just come here, set everything up, and then we sell it as we want to?
You can sell it for free if you want. It's your discretion. We don't take any revenues in this case. We are completely voided with the payment process. The payment process will either go on the reception or the website or the provider, the experience providers like TripAdvisors and everybody else.
And what's the approximate time that it takes, for example, for you, if we decide to do it, I don't know, right now, how long? A month, 2 months? How long does it take to put everything together?
The main problem we usually face is unresponsive hotel or provider. If everything is perfect, we can do this in 14 days. Usually, every task we have to do, it's up to 3 days. So then you get it. The workflow would go in a way. We are sending you the preposition of 10 places you would visit. Who would be the narrator? Is it your mascot? Is it somebody else? And then we give you this. And then we need, okay, your reply, we basically send this in Slovenian or your native language. Then after we get the reply. So we like this, we don't like this. Then we go back and forth. The more we go back and forth, the more the time. The more we wait for your review, the more the time. Once we have the text confirmed, then we go into different languages and voice, text to voice, and parts of it is also text to video. But basically, our parts are usually 3 days, 3 working days. And then if you are determined to order, then it can be quite fast.
And what is your business model? Because you say that if we download the app and we have our bike, it's for free or it's on the discretion of the hotel. So how GoGiro, do you have like a subscription the hotel or campsite need to apply for?
So we have two revenue streams. First revenue stream is that we are creating the content that hotels or campsites or anyone else gets the full ownership of this content. So this means the tour guide itself, the words, the everything, the translations, the text to audio files and video files. This is all an ownership of our customer. The second one is this is useful as itself already. You can have it on QR codes, use it to inform your guests, use it as a marketing material. So this is again useful. It's not really necessarily connected to the application. But of course, if you have done this, you can also use the application. And the application business model is that this is now a SaaS model, software as a service. And we are renting out the one license, which is usually connected to a bicycle. In the case of the bicycle, it's 30 euros per month or €1 per day. Basically, if the tourism provider would sell each day one trip, it would cost him €1 from the 50 they earn for bike rental. This is the best case for them. At the worst case, they pay just 30 euros and maybe rent out 5 times a month and earn 150 euros or 250 euros with this rental. So it's not a big amount in percentage wise. Of course, we want to have the more the fleet, the more the bikes, the more the tourism providers, the more we earn. So it's very connected. Of course, if they want to just rent out 5 bikes, we don't sell them 10 licenses, we sell them 5. And when they progress with the revenue, of course, we will earn more. So it's, I think, quite fair to the tourism provider that these costs will grow with the revenues.
It makes sense. Thank you. And to go back to you, Urša, you told us that you have several challenges you want to solve. So the first one is around the bicycle tour you want to offer. And what are the other challenges you are facing in your campsites?
Yeah, I think we already discussed here and there a lot of things. One of the things that we have is story. with our mascot and everything that's made mostly for the children, so we entertain them, or we make sure to give them some challenges and rewards for them to go hiking, biking, stuff like that. So we have a small book story written down with what they can do here at the campsite with the valley. Then they have to collect the stamps, and at the end they have a prize or something like that. So, as we already discussed earlier, one of the options or one of the wishes would be to put that into digitalization, animate it, and use it even for, like, now it's one story. We can use the mascot and the digitalized version of the mascot for everything that happens next, because the point is that we try to add every year something new. So with that, it's quite easier to then add the products, add the activities, add the trips, everything like that in a video version. And then the third challenge that we have is just how to keep reminding people to minimalize the trash, to separate the trash, stuff like that. Because the things that are happening that we recognize are that when people are on holidays, they kind of relax and forget all about being responsible and about the environment and everything like that. Most of us, and especially our European guests, they have to separate the trash at home. They have to minimalize it, stuff like that. But what we notice once they come here on holidays, it's quite hard to keep reminding them they should separate, they should minimalize, they should be careful with the water, stuff like that. So we try to send them the emails, we make videos to remind them of that, we make different signs. But one of the proposals was to put that on the screen or put the QR code on to keep reminding them.
Yeah, this is something that we have been doing for one customer before, and we see huge potential in this. So we see QR codes, especially in the combination with some stickers. There is only so much information you can put on one sticker. It's 2D, it's not moving. But combining sticker with a QR code that behind can provide a mascot that explains a story that Earth is a green planet and we want to preserve it for our children. And we have lots of stories that bring this message closer to people. It's much easier to understand when you put in the concrete example what's happening if you don't do certain things that are, you don't over waste the water, or you don't keep the correct trash in the incorrect parts. So this animated story that is available once you go to take out trash, and you can see and you can scan and educate yourself, is something that helps for sure with education and consciousness about saving the planet. So especially when you are in this really, really beautiful parts of country like Menina, Planina, is very important to keep your surroundings clean and be conscious about this. So this is something that for sure will resonate with the location and keeping the planet as beautiful as it is already in these parts of the world.
Yeah, I think adding some gamification sometimes is super helpful, especially now we are all used to have our phone when we do everything. So just having to scan a QR code and being entertained while doing tasks we don't really like, I think it's a really nice idea.
Yeah, I think that this idea, having scanned the QR code for a present, for something Menina, Planina could give back, maybe some mascot, small mascot, solve these puzzles, solve these questions, free questions about the environment, and get something for you to take home, is something that can easily be created on our site, much easier than maybe 2 years before, but will do that job that we want to do. To be even more conscious about the planet.
And Urša, can you share with us any key learning or best practices that our listeners that are also maybe owners of campsite can learn from you?
Well, in my opinion, our campsite is all about being nice, warm, and connected to people. So, especially with our owner, the digitalization, everything, it's quite a challenge to accept. But in my opinion, I think especially in tourism, it's people. So it's really important. But I think all the campsite and tourist providers should learn how to work with digitalization to help them out to make the work easier and to solve the problems we are always dealing with. So I think a lot of times when you start talking about digitalization, you can get a really negative feedback with people. But I think if we use it correctly, it's a really good point and it will make it way easier for all of us to work and to make people happy. So yeah, I think it's quite an important thing to do this kind of things and connect people from the digital world with us that are here with people, and we can discuss what we need and find the solutions because now we're able to.
And Klemen, on your side, as you are working with hotel, campsite, or resort, do you have any key learning you would like to share with us as well?
Yeah, I'm really enthusiastic about the progress and how well we can improve work processes of tourism providers in the future. So now it's all about making them aware of all the solutions, everything that we can offer. I think that now it's time that we can provide great products. Maybe this was not the case 2 years before, but now we can really provide something amazing. And I'm really looking forward to every early adopters who are ready to step on the AI route and use the things that digitalization and AI can do the best, which is automatization, every repetitive jobs that are there. This is also a key for us. If anything is being repeated more than 50 times, then digitalization and AI can do it much more effectively and cheaper and more reliably. The second thing that is also important, and we always come to this, is the understanding of hospitality, being hospitable as a tourism provider. We understand this as listening to your guest, listening to the tourist, listening to their problems, and trying to focus even more on that and providing all the repetitive stuff. We also try to push, welcome videos instead of waiting on the reception, maybe 5 minutes, just a receptionist to tell you because he is, busy and with other guests. Why not offer them on different channels, maybe at the hotel entrance or in the room, these welcome videos as a supportive addition, not really the only solution, but if reception doesn't work or if the reception has a shortened time frame that works, there can still be these educational videos about what the campsite or the hotel offers, what is there available for them, and some information about the breakfast and stuff. So especially what is being hospitable means, we think that more about guests, more about listening to their needs instead of just telling them the same story over and over and over. This distinction we want. I think that even a heavily digitalized hotel or campsite can be very hospitable. And this is something that I want to make people know in the future.
And are you available in other countries? If I am an hotel outside of Slovenia, can I work with you, Klemen?
We are actually open for whole world. So maybe some very exotic languages, not right now, but we are active in USA, we are active in Spain, Italy. So yeah, we don't see any problems as long as they speak English language just to communicate in sales talks. Then we are available. So for France, our solution works perfectly in French language, also Spain, Italy. It's amazing. It's really working well.
Good to know. Perfect. I would like to know more about your company, Klemen. They can maybe reach out to you on LinkedIn or on your website.
Of course. So it's www.hopguides, hopguides.com. And you can find me on LinkedIn. Add me on LinkedIn. It's Klemen Furlan. Very, very looking forward to talk to you to help you grow.
And also for guests that would like to stay in a new camping site, how can they book directly with you?
They can find us on our website and get all the information about what we offer. We're always available on email and on phone number as well. And it's campingmenina.com.
That was a really interesting conversation, and certainly I think it just brings a touch of reality that's quite refreshing. So what stood out to you from that conversation with Urša and Klemen's Marie?
What I really like is that you can use technology with a real purpose to engage your customer having environmental responsibilities. So you can use technology to automate your process, to improve guest experience, but you can also use technology to make your guests aware of their impacts while they travel. And I think it's so important.
So that's your takeaway. And as always, we've put together 5 key takeaways for everybody to think about and put into place within their own situation. So as always, that leaves us to say, look forward to seeing you
next Monday.
And don't forget to hit subscribe.
Bye.
Reflecting on today's discussion, it's clear that for many tourism businesses, technology holds the key to unlocking their true potential. In this case, going beyond the physical or resource constraints that would normally limit potential. So, what are our 5 key takeaways from today's conversation? Number 1, technology is truly an enabler. Today, we learned how the traditional tourism model can be turned on its head by offering digital exclusive experiences which visitors can follow at their own pace, language, and style, all thanks to AI. Number 2, storytelling brings unique value. When you add local knowledge and attractions to the overall experience, it can significantly elevate the experience from just a digital interaction to a more meaningful and engaging digital experience. Whilst technology and AI can be a powerful addition, don't forget that it is people that really make an impact. Number 3, when promoting positive choices, technology is our ally. In today's episode, we learned how digital reminders alongside other purpose-driven interactions can be a key tool in reminding visitors to make positive choices and helping communication around the overall environmental responsibility that we all have. Number 4, personalized experiences certainly do rock. With AI offering personalized digital experiences through storytelling, uniquely created characters and content adaptation can significantly increase engagement and other digital experiences personalized to the end user. And number 5, digital experiences certainly aren't bound to the ebbs and flows of traditional tourism businesses. Whilst we are all too familiar with the challenges of seasonality and the stresses and strains that this brings to businesses, digital experiences are always there and respond to the growing desire from visitors for digital-first experiences which can be experienced directly when they seek it. This means a more scalable, more accessible, and more feasible approach as a business proposition, all of which makes us certainly more profitable. So there we have it, another week and 5 more valuable takeaways you can implement directly into your own business. Next time you're visiting a place for the first time, why not ask yourself how that hotel stay or restaurant meal could be digitally augmented, inviting you to not only enjoy the hospitality in person, but also discover what lies beyond the front door. You've been listening to Tour Tech. That's a wrap for another week. If you liked today's episode, be sure to leave a review and share amongst your networks across social. These 2 small actions make a really big difference. We appreciate the time you take to listen and, of course, to share. Make sure you don't miss future episodes. New episodes are released every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all major podcasting platforms. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and get your podcasts every week in your inbox. Tourbit is a partnership co-funded by the European Commission's COSME program for small and medium-sized enterprises, and it's led by an incredible team of partners who are all as passionate about what they do
as the businesses they're supporting. This includes the Catalan Tourist Board, Barcelona Chamber of Commerce, Paris & Co., Tourism 4.0 in Slovenia, Hub Brussels, Iceland's tourism cluster, Lapland University of Applied Sciences, and NEST, the Tourism Innovation Centre in Portugal. On behalf of these incredible partners at Torbit and the European Commission, and of course here at the Digital Tourism Think Tank, thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next week.